Okay, family, thanks for coming back for part two. Um, so, where were we? On the way back from the mailbox place to the hotel, another long ride back to Miami, um, I noticed a bumper sticker that had a pedophile uh, symbol on it. I noticed all other manner of strange billboards trying to push this new normal on us. Um, and I noticed there was like 5 lanes of traffic, and we were in one of the 3 lanes. It's just like bumper to bumper, and then those other 2 lanes were just wide open, just not that many people driving up and down them. But I asked Mario why that is, and he said because to drive on that side you need to pay an extra $20 a day. So I found that pretty interesting that people are willing to accept the idea that their motorways, which were paid for by taxpayer dollars, are now being subdivided by private companies who want to charge us more. Um, what else did I notice on the way back? Oh, yeah, can't forget a Black Lives Matter protest. So, I have been to protests, I have participated in protests before, and I have never seen a police escort ever at a protest. The cops usually have better things to do than to babysit people who are exercising their free speech. But we had a cop car there. Why? Well, because these BLM protesters were stationed on a very busy intersection in Miami at rush hour traffic time. Um, and they had their little signs and stuff like that, right? And while the light was red, they would be on the sidewalk, and then as soon as the light turned green, they would come out into the streets to block the traffic from getting through the red light that they've just been sitting at. And this line of traffic went back as far as I could see for at least 1 or 2 kilometers. You couldn't see the end of the line. And so with all this other, 6G and fear porn and all the new normal and all the craziness going on, this is being meant to stoke people further into rage so that the system can get the violence it needs to respond to with more violence. So it's just provocation, plain and simple, which is basically what George Soros does. He's agent provocateur, a provoker of agent, an agent who provokes things, right? In this case, chaos and disorder. Now, the cop car was there to protect them, of course, but also in case anybody got any ideas that they might want to turn this intersection into a roundabout instead of waiting for the red light to tell them that it's okay to go, then they would run the red light and get a ticket from the cop. So this is just insanity, no? So anyhow, Mario got me back to the hotel, and I checked in, and at the front desk there was a man who was wearing a face mask, and he looked at me, straight at me, and he pulled his face mask off, and he said, "I'm so glad to see somebody else not wearing a face mask." And I said, "Well, yeah, because they're bad for your health." I explained how, you can get carbon dioxide poisoning, and how the masks itself contains all this bacteria from you breathing out. You're not able to, escape this constant recirculation of bacteria and stuff. And, viruses being microscopic and the fibers of your mask not being microscopic or smaller than microscopic, we should say. If you want to prevent something microscopic from filtering through, it needs to be smaller than microscopic. And as I was having this conversation with him, everybody around me at the front desk turned around and was listening to how I was talking. Now let me point something out here. If I had gotten violent and angry or unsettled or pulled into the polarity and been like, I'm sick of this, I've been in Miami for 2 hours already and you people are driving me crazy, I can guarantee you nobody else would have heard a word I said. But because I was in my center and because I was speaking facts, people were sort of resonating with that, and they all were like, yeah, shaking their heads and agreeing with me and saying, yeah, my sister's a nurse and she said the same thing. And yeah, so that was the check-in. And then I got to the office, excuse me, not the office. I got to the room, and I had been trying to upload this video I had recorded a couple days earlier, but each time I tried to upload it here in Mexico with, we don't have 5G here, uh, the video, it takes like, a 20-minute video takes like between 9 and 12 hours to upload here. And provided the power doesn't go out, it could be several days before you can get your video uploaded. So I just said, screw it, I'm gonna be in 5G, 6G Miami, I'll upload it there. And sure enough, wouldn't you know it, this 20-minute video, which I would normally expect to take a minimum of 12 hours to upload, well, it uploaded in 13 minutes. Okay, so after the video uploaded, I turned on the television programming device, because that's what I like to do when I go to the hotels, is to turn on the TV to see what kind of programming is going on. And I came across this television series called The Dead Files. Now, if you're not familiar with this series, it deals with people who have haunted houses, right, and paranormal activity going on. In reality, they themselves are haunted. And, you know, they're like at their wits' end. They don't know what to do, but they're just sure that something's not right. So they call in this medium. And, oof, she was a nice little reptile. She was... yeah, she was pretty wicked. Anyhow, she was telling all these people that, oh yeah, your house is haunted. You have to move. You have to move out, because what else can you do, right? Really? What else can you do? You can get down on your knees. You can pray to your ancestors and your guides and guardian angels to surround you. And you can tell this entity to get the hell out of your house. That's what you can do. You can put salt and sage everywhere. You can bust out the copal and the frankincense and the palo santo, and I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Hang up some garlic, you know. But first, before you do all that around your house, make sure you're cleaned out. Make sure you're resonating with the truth. Make sure you're not following false belief systems and lending your energies to deception and that which is not true. Make sure that you're not putting GMO foods in your body and breathing in chemtrails and all other manner of toxic thoughts that go on in our minds that we allow to pollute ourselves and make ourselves vulnerable to entities attaching to us. And then wherever we go, the house is haunted? Yeah, not likely. But anyhow, yeah, that's what you can do. And oh boy, I wish it would have been like a live feed and I could have had a conversation with this medium and called her out for what a fraud she was. I'm sure she's not aware of what she's doing. I'm certain of that. She didn't seem to know exactly, you know. It was obvious to me that it was all these, and they were all white people, right? They were all these pasty white people who look like they don't never get out in the sun. They don't never get their vitamin D. They don't ever like go out in nature. They were like all obese, so you can tell they're eating all this crap, you know, McDonald's and whatnot. And they were all like visibly like the flight attendant and the Uber driver and the guy at the store, like suffering from energy weapon attacks. And it's all making them vulnerable to the entities which CERN for several years has been inviting into our realm by smashing atoms together and destroying the fabric of our universe. So yeah, I thought that was a very interesting program on the programming device. Maybe you agree? There was Another, there was another series that I didn't bother watching, but it just was advertising a series. And this one, I forget what they called it. Maybe I didn't write it down here, but yeah, I forgot to write this down, family. Sorry. The name of the series I don't recall, but it was featuring the Eric Garner story. So, and I haven't done a video about this yet, but basically the Eric Garner was, I think, back in 2014, if I recall correctly. There was a field test done on the East Coast where a black guy was choked to death by a cop. And here we are, 6 years later, we're going to air this as a series. Why did you take 6 years? Oh, that's right, because now it's going to coincide with George Soros and all his Black Lives Matter bullshit. So, yeah. Lots of commercials, always. Lots of commercials for drugs. Primarily, this is the extent of the commercials in their entirety. Drugs, alcohol, promiscuity, gender confusion, and, what was the other one? Get yourself in debt and buy things because your negative self-image is going to be helped if you just get a zero down loan and you can buy this new car. One commercial was this UFC. I'm not sure what that means. United Fight Club or something like that. It's some sort of kickboxing kind of thing. And she was a female, don't you know? Because there's more perversion here. Even for men to fight in a ring like that. For men to fight over something that is a game, to make a game out of violence is wrong. You only have the right to inflict violence on somebody in self-defense. And to stage an event where you're going to go at it so that your bookie or your broker or your agent or your owner can get, money from it, this is disgusting. And it's particularly disgusting when females participate in this. But anyhow, the commercial was for beer, of course. It showed her in the ring and doing her training in the gym, and she was all buff, and really fit and knows how to defend herself, and she's, just pumping her up like some kind of hero, right? And then it showed her in a bar having a beer. So yeah, I'm sure that this woman in her physical level of physical fitness is sitting in a bar drinking a beer, right? But yeah, just drink this beer and you can be like her. Don't go to the gym, don't train, don't do anything, don't take any discipline or action of your own, but just drink this beer and you're good to go. And it's always been like this. The TV has always been like this. So what else did I see? Oh my gosh, I saw commercials for drugs to cure or treat, rather, 5G related illnesses. I saw drug commercials for your pets because your pets are sick and getting cancer because you're feeding them this crap processed food from the grocery store. And so now they're getting all these diseases and illnesses just like you are from eating the McDonald's and the Doritos and the Nestle and the Coca-Cola. And it was even more hideous than the drug commercials for humans because like the pets can't really sit down and make choices for themselves. What am I going to have for dinner tonight? They count on us to feed them. And so it's just, it took it to a whole nother level for me. These poor animals, just hideous, really hideous. That's what I saw on the television programming device. And then I had to get to bed early because I had to get up for, I think I had a 6:30 departure the next morning. So I went to bed, and normally I sleep pretty soundly. I don't toss and turn at all. I hardly move at all during the night. I never get up to use the bathroom. But I got up 3 times to use the bathroom, and I tossed and turned all night long. Again, 6G, or at least 5G. It was, and then my dreams. I had these really horrible dreams, and it was so obvious that city is under siege from weaponized energy. It was just hideous. The next morning, I woke up and I felt this heaviness on my chest, like there was something sitting on my chest. And I got up and cleared that thing away, whatever that was, and then it was just this really dark energy, and I went into the bathroom to brush my teeth and get ready to catch the shuttle to the airport, and I started coughing up phlegm. So by that point, I'd only been in Miami for about 12 hours. So already I had like fluid build up in my chest. I had a really bad headache. Again, this is all energy weapons, folks. This is not, and they're blaming it on a virus. So anyhow, headed downstairs, got on the shuttle, and this man sitting next to me, there was only 3 other people on the shuttle, a man and his wife in the front row, and then myself, and then in the seat on the other side of the aisle was this other man. And he asked me why I wasn't wearing a face mask, and I just proceeded to calmly, explain to him, they don't protect you against anything, they make you sick, they destroy your immune system, and they cause carbon dioxide poisoning, and with that, the guy in the front row jumped up, got out of his seat with his fist shaking at me and said, "Lady, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about, you're stupid. Carbon dioxide poisoning, let me tell you," he says, with his fists. He says, "Let me tell you, I'm a chemist, and what you're saying is not true." Wow. I don't know what to say. I have 3 master's degrees. None of them are in the medical field, but I am capable of researching and looking and analyzing scientific peer-reviewed evidence, which shows that these face masks do contribute to carbon dioxide poisoning. It's a fact. Anyhow, his wife had to actually calm him down because he was about to come back there and physically attack me. That's the level. That's the level of this shit that's going on in the States. It's really scary, folks. Now, it's good for him that he didn't stand up and come back there, because he would have had his ass handed to him, just like any entity that tries to come into my space is going to have their ass handed to him as well. So, I don't play. This is my experience, right? Ain't having it. So, I'll see if I can get through the rest of these notes as quickly as possible, because I'm trying to keep the videos to 20 minutes, because otherwise they take days to upload. I saw a sign outside Miami Airport that said it was being close to home and what I love, and the sign was for the Miami Cancer Institute. Inside the airport, I forgot to take my Swiss knife off my keychain and put it in my check bags, and by the time I realized it, it was too late. My bags had already gone through, and the guys that checked me in told me it would take hours to find my bags and put the knife in there. So he said, just don't even, bother, because they're not going to hold the plane up for that. And so I said, well, then I'll just gift this to you guys. And this is a very dear Swiss knife. It's anybody who's had a Swiss knife knows how versatile and useful they are. And then if you've had them for, in my case, over 2 decades, I've had this knife. It's kind of, you got this attachment to it, right? So I said, let me give this to you guys, because I have more interaction with you checking me in than I will do the TSA. I'm not going to give it to them. So I handed it to them, and they wouldn't take it. They said, we're not allowed to take anything from customers. You mean like the passport you just took from me to check me in? You're not allowed to take that? Oh, you're allowed to take that, but not the Swiss knife. So anyway, that was just more silliness going on there, and I just left it on the counter for these guys to have a gift, a Swiss knife, really good Swiss knife. Well, with that being said, I'm at 19 minutes now, so I'm going to close out part 2 and do a part 3, which will be more concise and not 20 minutes long as this one has been. So hope you're staying interested, and if you are, I look forward to seeing you back for part 3. Namaste, family.